Greetings everybody, it's me again. Okay, now just recently news has risen up saying that a new King Kong vs. Godzilla movie may be in the works. Like a new film. It's most likely gonna happen. And I'm really excited for this news because just the thought of a new movie where two of my most favorite movie monsters of all time in science fiction version, not a horror version. Horror version would be like Dracula versus the Frankenstein monster, or the werewolf. But no, this is science fiction. Giant monsters, radioactive monsters, atomic monsters, whatever. But anyways, two of my most favorite science fiction monsters in movie history coming together again, fighting each other to the death. This actually reminds me of the cancelled King Kong vs. Godzilla remake that was supposed to happen in 1991, but it got cancelled, and they made Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah instead. And not only that, but King Kong vs. Godzilla 2 that was supposed to come out in 1963, but it got cancelled because Godzilla would take a break that year, although King Kong will make a return in King Kong Escapes. But anyways, if they want to make a new movie of King Kong vs. Godzilla, they gotta do it right. The first one was really good, but it did have some flaws in it, minor flaws, but still, probably not the worst Godzilla movie. It's really fun. It's awesome. Just not as memorable as the original Godzilla, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, and Godzilla 2014. But anyways, if they want to make this movie, they gotta make it right. First of all, they need to retell Kong's story. It kind of like a reboot. Like people looking that discovered a new island, and discovers Kong, and they bring him to the city, and meanwhile Godzilla comes in, and they start fighting. That they did that in the original King Kong vs. Godzilla, and the story was perfect. Excuse me, the stupid plane's coming by. Anyways, they did that in the original King Kong vs. Godzilla they kind of rebooted the Kong story but mixed it in with Godzilla, and that was great. They need to do that again. And but here's the thing: should King Kong vs. Godzilla, the new movie, should it be part of the Godzilla franchise by Legendary? Should it be like part of the King Kong franchise, like the same universe as Skull Island, which is going to be a prequel to, I believe, King Kong vs. Godzilla? No, I'm sorry. A prequel to King Kong 2005 and the original King Kong? I don't know, it's either one of the two. It's most likely going to be a prequel to King Kong, the 2005 remake. But anyways, I really think that it should take place in its own separate universe. It really needs to take place in its own separate universe. Just the I don't know. I just don't like the idea of it taking place in the same universe as Skull Island or the Godzilla trilogy by Legendary. I don't like that idea. It needs to take place in its own separate universe. Just like the Dark Knight trilogy was with Man of Steel, or I think it was a separate universe. I'm not sure, but I'm gonna have to say that it is its own separate universe. And well, it, the reason why I wanted to have its own separate universe is simply because if if Skull Island is if it's part of the the King Kong franchise with King Kong 2005 and Skull Island that's coming out in a few years, then how is it possible? Why would Kong uh, how would Kong go from a 50-foot tall gorilla and then into a giant gorilla, like the same size as Godzilla, you know? Like, unless there's a giant version of Kong that's hidden in the island that only the 50-foot tall King Kong knows. But no, that's just too stupid. I don't want that. And should it be part of the Godzilla franchise from Legendary Studios? No, like just the idea of Godzilla going from battling the Mutos to battling Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah in Godzilla 2, although it's not confirmed yet who he is going to fight first. And who knows? Maybe Godzilla will team up with Rodan and Mothra to fight against King Ghidorah, just like in the film Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. But anyways, Godzilla went from fighting the Mutos, and then he's going to be with King Ghidorah, Mothra, and Rodan. And then the third film, who knows what he's gonna do. But anyways, just the idea of Godzilla going from fighting the Mutos to Rodan, Mothra, and King Ghidorah, and then finally fighting a giant gorilla. No, that's just too stupid, honestly. Um, I mean, I just don't like the idea of of the new King Kong versus Godzilla movie to. I like the idea of the new movie taking place in its own separate universe, then taking place in either of the universe from the Kong franchise and Godzilla franchise. And lastly, um, King Kong and Godzilla, they need to be the only ones in the movie. The giant octopus in the first film, King Kong vs. Godzilla, it was cool, but there's no reason to add that in the new movie because it would be kind of pointless. But then again, no, I'm saying that no, Godzilla and King Kong need to be the only ones in the movie. No extras. It's not, and it won't be. I want it to be like Batman versus Superman, where Wonder Woman is in it as well, for no reason, unless there is a reason. But the movie isn't released yet. But King Kong, Godzilla, they need to be the only ones in the movie fighting each other. No more, no less. And finally, what should the design of the monsters be like? Well, for one thing, I want Kong's design to be like the 2005 version. As for Godzilla, well, maybe give him a different design than the 2014 version. That's actually my second favorite design of Godzilla, but a different design for Godzilla in the new movie will be better, honestly. And lastly, what is the story going to be like? I mean, we know the concept. Like, adventurers look for a newly discovered island. They find the island. They also discovered Kong, and they bring him into the city. Meanwhile, Godzilla destroys things, and they meet each other, and then they fight. But what should the actual story be like? Should it be about a greedy person who tries to make money from Kong? How would Godzilla get into the movie? Would he be like? Would Godzilla be like? will Godzilla get his own origin story and like be introduced to the world again for the first time, along with Kong? I mean, King Kong versus Godzilla from 1962 was okay. It was the first. It was a reboot to the Kong franchise, but it was also the third Godzilla movie. He just awoken from a hibernation rest from Godzilla Raids Again. And but this time they need to retell Godzilla's origin again. That would be nice, you know, along with Kong. It will be cool. And lastly, last but not least, should there be a sequel? In my opinion, no. One film's enough. However, who will be the winner? In my opinion, Kong should win. That giant badass ape needs to get as much love as Godzilla. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. What's your opinion? What do you like to see in the new King Kong vs. Godzilla film? Put your answers in the comment section below, and see you later.